So next we're gonna do the physical exam, okay? So I'm just gonna have you go through different motions. As we go through the different motions, you might feel a discomfort, stretch, or pull. As soon as you feel these, please go ahead and let me know.
Okay.
Do you have any symptoms right now?
No.
No? Okay, so let's get started with the test. So please go ahead and stand up. We're gonna face the wall right there, okay? And then put your feet apart a little bit, just like where my feet are. Okay, very good. Now I want you to bend forward and try to touch your toes. So bend forward as far as you can and try to touch your toes. Very good. Come back up. Let's try that one more time. Very good. Come back up. Okay, now I want you to put your hands behind your back. I want you to bend backwards as far as you can. Okay, very good. Let's do that one more time. Sliding your hands down your legs. Okay, very good. Next, what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and raise your arms to the side at 90 degrees. Yes, just like that. Now, I want you to keep your pelvis stable. Do not move your pelvis. Go ahead and reach to the right wall with your hand. Okay, now let's go ahead and reach to the left wall. Okay, very good. Now, I want you to keep your hands steady, still, and I want you to go ahead and move your pelvis to the right side. Okay, very good. Go ahead and move your pelvis to the left side. Okay, very good. Now let's go ahead and try that one more time again. So I want you to keep your pelvis steady and still. Go ahead and move your right hand to the right wall. Very good. Now let's do the left. Very good. Now let's keep your hands steady and still. Let's go ahead and move your pelvis to the right. Very good. Let's move your pelvis to the left. Okay, very good. Okay, thank you so much. You can relax. So the point of doing this is to do the repeated motions. It's to centralize. Also, it's to hopefully decrease the pain. Okay, that's the goal. Just to get a lesser and lesser symptom response. The PPIVM. So what we're checking here is we're checking for hypomobility or we're checking for hypermobility, also symptom response. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to have the patient in sideline with the spine in neutral, okay? And then we want to have her knees bent, okay? Bent. And you want to put her knees, so you want to put her knees at your hip crease, okay? And then with the piano key grip, what you want to do is, like, you want to start with L5, you want to have one finger above and below, and then you move her into flexion, and then as soon as you see it opening up where it can't open up no more, you move on to the next level. So then you go to L4, L3, so you just move up, and then like the higher you go up, the more flexion she's gonna be in. So let me go ahead and demonstrate this. So I'm at L5, okay? I'm at L5 right here. So then I'll move her into flexion, okay? And then I can feel it opening up and stopping, and then I move her more, go to L4, go to L5, okay? I mean L3, okay? So then I'll just go up the spine like this, and this is usually done for people who are lacking mobility or for someone who just had a decreased symptom response. Okay, so this is the flexion PPIVM. For the PPIVM rotation, what we're gonna do, so it helps to stretch the QL and the paraspinal muscles, and then also it's gonna open up the intervertebral space for any nerve entrapment or impingement. So the way this works is that you have the patient go into sideline, okay? So you have her go into sideline, you want her bottom leg straight, and the top leg you want to flex a little bit, bent, yeah? Then you put your arm gently over here on her back. So if we are working on the L5-S1 segment, we would find that segment, and then we also want to support her knee or her leg with our thigh. So then what we do is we put this one, this is gonna be the stabilizing one, arm, and then this is gonna be the one that moves the pelvis down until you feel the end of the motion. So I would find L5-S1, okay? Then I'll move the pelvis down, okay, until the end of the motion. And then you just keep going up the spine. And then as you go, the more the thigh is gonna be even more down. So as you go up the spine, the thigh is gonna be more down. Okay, so that's gonna be the rotation. So let me just show you one more time. So we're gonna flex this one, okay? L5-S1, okay? Move it down, okay? End of the motion, I will go up, move it down, okay? End of the motion. So we just go up the spine. Okay, that's gonna be the rotation test. I'm gonna do passive range of motion for the hip at 90 degrees. So the first one is gonna be hip IR. It's gonna be 30 to 40 degrees range of motion. And then you have hip ER, which is gonna be 40 to 60 range of motion. And it should be a tissue stretch and feel. So for the first one, we're gonna do the IR. And the way we would do this, raise up, put it into 90 degrees hip flexion. And then you want the femur to be perpendicular to the floor. You want to check for pelvis motion and make sure there's no lateral tilting especially. And then next you want to put your hand at a distal femur. And you want to put this other hand kind of behind the knee. And then you want to put it into hip internal rotation, just like so. So this is the stopping for it. Do you have any symptoms?
No.
No? Okay. Let me try it one more time. Do you have any symptoms?
No.
Okay. So that's going to be hip IR. Hip ER, and it's going to be 40 to 60 degrees range of motion, 40 to 60, and it's going to be a tissue stretch. So we're going to get her into flexion, just like for IR, and then we're going to put our hands over here at the malleoli, and then we're going to put her into hip ER, this. Okay, I feel the stopping point. Do you have any symptoms?
No.
No? Let's try it again. Do you have any symptoms?
No.
Okay. And you also want to make sure the femur is perpendicular to the floor. You want to check for pelvis motion, especially for lateral pelvic tilt. So that's how I would do hip ER. I'm going to do hip IR and ER at 0 degrees. Okay. So the way we would do it is we would bend the knee to 90 degrees. Okay. And you want the leg to be in line with the body, and you want to stabilize like the pelvis from the PSIs to the PSIs. So then we move her into hip internal rotation, like so. Okay. That's the stopping point. Do you have any symptoms?
No.
No? Okay. Then we switch our hand, grab the lateral lower leg over here, and we go into hip external rotation, like so. Do you have any symptoms?
No.
No? Okay. So that's hip IR and ER at 0 degrees. Hip active range of motion for IR, and it should be about 30 to 40 degrees range of motion. Should be a tissue stretch and feel. If we don't get to that motion, that means there might be like an intra-articular capsule issue, or maybe like an impingement, or maybe a retroversion. So you want to have the patient sitting like this, 90 degrees, okay? And then what you want to do is you want to line up your goni, okay? So then we will bring the patient into hip, into internal rotation, have her hold it there. Okay, hold it there for me. So I'm put the axis at the femur, stable arm at the perpendicular to the floor, and then the moving arm at the tip fib, and I'm getting about 40 degrees, which seems normal. So next we're gonna do hip ER, and the range of motion is gonna be 40 to 60 degrees. It's gonna be a tissue stretch end field, and if they have like an issue getting this range, that means that there might be like an extra articular like a pathology going on, or maybe even like an anteversion. So the way I would do it is have her go into hip ER. Okay, go ahead, and I'll just measure that range. She seems to be getting about 45 degrees, which is seems normal. So this is hip ER at 90. Alright, so next I'm just gonna measure the hip IR and ER at 0 degrees, okay? And it's important to note the pelvis. Also, you want to compare both sides, and you want to compare it to the passive range of motion as well. So I'm gonna have you go into IR now, okay? I'm gonna light up my goni, okay? Let's go back. Okay, very good. Okay, go ahead. Okay. That's about 40 degrees. And you want to line it up with the tibia. Okay, now let's go to ER. Okay, it's about 45 degrees of ER. going to be the pro knee bend test. So this is going to be the pro knee bend test. And what we check here is we check for lumbar rotation or extension. So we first go ahead and bend the knee, okay, passively to check, okay. Then we have her do it actively. Go ahead and bend your knee for me, okay. That seems about good. Try this one now for me. Okay, I didn't see a difference. I didn't really see a like rotation or extension going on. And if she did, for example, we would have her contract her abs, okay, and then we would have her bend her knee. And then if we have her do that and we saw a difference, maybe her rectus femoris is tight. Also, if her femur deviated, that could also mean maybe the TFL or the IT band is tight. So this is going to be the pro knee bend test. Do the hip extension test. What we do is we first passively put them into extension. Afterwards, we have her do that actively, and we are going to assess lumbar extension and rotation. So this is how I would do it. Okay. Now I want you to do that actively for me. So go ahead and lift your leg up. Okay, good. Try this one now. Try this leg. Okay. I do see her spine working a little bit more, so maybe you could contract your abs for me. Okay. Go ahead and contract your glutes first, and then lift up. Okay. Very good. Okay. So we also want to consider relative stiffness if we see like a movement pattern, because if the glutes are weak, for example, she's going to compensate with her back, for example. And this is why we check active range of motion and passive range of motion to see if there's a difference. In that case, we need to consider relative stiffness as well.